So there's a rumor circulating online right now that's absolutely wild, and it involves Donald Trump's new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt. People on social media are claiming that Trump might be the father of her baby. Yes, you heard that right. We're talking about one of the youngest press secretaries in American history, someone who just started this high-profile job, and suddenly the internet is buzzing with speculation about her personal life in the most dramatic way possible. The claims have been spreading across Twitter, TikTok, and various forums, with people analyzing photos, timelines, and making connections that range from circumstantial to completely speculative. Today, we're going to walk through exactly what's being said, where this rumor came from, what evidence actually exists, and what it tells us about how political figures get caught up in viral speculation. Let's start with who Karoline Leavitt actually is, because if you're not deeply plugged into political news, her name might not be familiar yet. She's 27 years old, which makes her the youngest White House press secretary in U.S. history. Before getting this position, she worked as the national press secretary for Trump's 2024 campaign. She's originally from New Hampshire, and she actually ran for Congress there in 2022 when she was just 25 years old. She didn't win that race, but it put her on the map in Republican circles. She's known for being extremely loyal to Trump and very aggressive in defending him against media criticism. Leavitt got married to her husband, Nick, in 2024. The wedding happened in New Hampshire, and photos from the event show it was a pretty traditional ceremony. She announced her pregnancy publicly later that year, and she gave birth to her son in July 2024. She's been open about being a working mom, and she's posted family photos on social media, showing her with her husband and their baby. On the surface, this is a straightforward story of a young, political operative who's married, had a baby, and is now taking on one of the most demanding jobs in Washington. So where did this paternity rumor come from? The speculation seems to have started picking up steam in late 2024 and early 2025, particularly after Trump won the election and announced that Leavitt would be his press secretary. Some of the earliest posts questioning her baby's paternity appeared on anonymous forums and in Twitter threads from accounts that frequently share conspiracy theories about Trump and his associates. The basic claim goes like this. People are suggesting that the timeline of her pregnancy, combined with her close working relationship with Trump during the campaign, means Trump could be the father instead of her husband. The supposed evidence people are pointing to falls into a few categories. First, there's timeline speculation. Some social media users have tried to calculate when she would have conceived based on when she announced her pregnancy and when she gave birth. They're comparing that timeline to when she was working most closely with Trump on the campaign trail. Second, people are analyzing photos of Leavitt and Trump together at campaign events, looking for body language or proximity that they interpret as suspicious. Third, some are pointing to how quickly Trump elevated her to press secretary as potential evidence of favoritism that goes beyond professional respect. Let's be very clear about something here. There is no credible evidence whatsoever to support these claims. No mainstream news organization has reported anything suggesting impropriety. No witnesses have come forward. No leaked communications exist. What we're dealing with is purely speculative content being shared by anonymous accounts online, often accompanied by phrases like, "just asking questions," or, "doesn't this seem strange to you?" This is important context because we're going to discuss what's being claimed, but that doesn't mean these claims have any factual basis. The timeline argument falls apart pretty quickly when you actually look at the facts. Leavitt announced her pregnancy in early 2024. And her son was born in July of that year. That's a normal pregnancy timeline. She was married in 2024 before announcing the pregnancy. The math that conspiracy theorists are doing involves making assumptions about conception dates that could place it during heavy campaign season. But this kind of backward calculation is notoriously unreliable and frankly invasive. Pregnancy dating is complex, and trying to pinpoint conception from outside someone's medical records is not how any of this works. The photo analysis being done is equally flimsy. Yes, there are photos of Leavitt and Trump together at campaign events. She was literally his press secretary, so of course they were photographed together. People are scrutinizing things like how close they're standing, or whether Trump has his hand on her shoulder in certain pictures. But if you apply this same level of analysis to photos of Trump with any staff member he works closely with, you could manufacture similar speculation. It's a classic example of confirmation bias, where people who want to see something suspicious will interpret neutral interactions as evidence. The argument about her rapid promotion also doesn't hold up to scrutiny. Leavitt was already a prominent spokesperson for Trump's campaign. She appeared on television constantly defending him. She was visible, articulate, and deeply loyal. Those are exactly the qualities Trump values in a press secretary. He's had a history of promoting young, aggressive defenders into prominent roles. Kayleigh McEnany was 31 when she became press secretary during Trump's first term. This isn't an unusual pattern for him. What makes this rumor particularly interesting from a media analysis perspective is how it's spreading. It's not being pushed by mainstream outlets or even by typical partisan news sites. Instead, it's thriving in spaces where conspiracy theories flourish, anonymous message boards, fringe Twitter accounts, and TikTok videos that present speculation as investigation. The videos often use ominous music, highlight certain photos with circles and arrows, and present timelines on screen that look official, but are based entirely on guesswork. Neither Leavitt nor Trump has directly addressed these specific paternity rumors, which is probably the smart move from a communication standpoint. Responding to every wild internet theory gives them oxygen and legitimacy. However, Leavitt has posted family photos that clearly show her with her husband and son, living a normal family life. Her husband Nick appears in her social media posts, and they present as a typical young married couple navigating parenthood. There's something worth discussing about why rumors like this gain traction in the first place. Trump has been accused of numerous affairs and sexual misconduct allegations over the years. Some of these allegations have been substantiated through legal proceedings, financial settlements, and his own recorded statements. So when a young, attractive woman in his orbit has a baby, some people's minds immediately go to worst-case scenarios based on his history. That's not entirely irrational, given the pattern of behavior, but it's also not fair to assume every professional relationship involves impropriety. On the flip side, there's also a long history of political opponents and critics inventing or exaggerating scandals to damage their enemies. During Trump's first term, there were countless rumors about his administration that turned out to be false or vastly overstated. The internet's ability to spread information faster than fact-checkers can debunk. It means that speculation often travels further than corrections. Someone scrolling through TikTok might see 3 videos suggesting Trump is the father of Leavitt's baby and never see the follow-up explaining there's no evidence for this claim. The rumor also plays into existing narratives about Trump's treatment of women and his workplace dynamics. He's been accused by multiple women of using his power to pursue sexual relationships. The Access Hollywood tape showed him bragging about his ability to do whatever he wants with women because of his celebrity status. So when people see a young woman being elevated rapidly in his world, some jump to assuming there must be a personal relationship beyond professional respect. Whether that's justified skepticism based on patterns or unfair prejudgment is honestly hard to untangle. From Leavitt's perspective, this has to be incredibly frustrating and invasive. She's a 27-year-old woman who just had a baby, got married, and started one of the most difficult jobs in politics. Now, random people on the internet are questioning her son's paternity and suggesting she had an affair with her boss, all without any evidence. Even if she knows the rumors are false, having your family life dragged through speculation, like this is a form of harassment that male political figures rarely experience to the same degree. The broader pattern here is concerning for how we discuss women in politics generally. Female politicians and political staffers face constant scrutiny of their appearance, their personal lives, and speculation about who they slept with to get their positions. It's a double standard that's been documented extensively. When a young man rises quickly in political ranks, people talk about his ambition and talent. When a young woman does the same, there are often whispers about who she knows or what she did to get there. This rumor about Leavitt fits squarely into that sexist pattern. At the same time, Trump's own documented behavior does create a context where these questions feel less outlandish than they would for a different president. If this same rumor emerged about a press secretary for Biden or Obama, it would be dismissed immediately as absurd because there's no pattern of behavior that would make it plausible. With Trump, given his history with Stormy Daniels, Karen McDougal, the numerous allegations, and his own statements about women, people's suspicion threshold is lower. That's a credibility problem of his own making. What's definitely true is that Leavitt has faced enormous pressure stepping into this role at such a young age. The White House press secretary position is brutal under any administration. You're the face of the president's messaging to the media. You're getting grilled daily by reporters who are trying to catch you in contradictions or extract newsworthy quotes. You're working incredibly long hours while trying to stay coordinated with dozens of other officials. And in Trump's case, you're defending someone who regularly contradicts his own staff and makes your job exponentially harder by going off script. Leavitt's first few weeks on the job have been rocky by some accounts. She's made statements that were quickly contradicted by Trump's own posts or by other administration officials. She's been criticized for being evasive in press briefings. Some reporters have complained that she's too combative and treats legitimate questions as attacks. But these are the normal growing pains of someone new to this role, especially someone working for Trump, who creates chaos as a management style. None of this has anything to do with paternity rumors. The rumor also reflects how social media has changed political discourse in ways that are sometimes really destructive. 20 years ago, a claim like this would need some kind of mainstream outlet to give it oxygen. Now, any person with a Twitter account and video editing software can create content that looks semi-professional and spread conspiracy theories to thousands or millions of people. The algorithms on these platforms often reward engagement over accuracy, so provocative claims get boosted regardless of their truthfulness. There's also the question of motivation behind spreading rumors like this. Some people sharing this content genuinely believe it and think they're uncovering something that mainstream media is ignoring. Others are doing it for clicks and engagement because conspiracy content performs well on social media. Some are political operatives who want to damage Trump or his administration by association. And some people just enjoy drama and gossip regardless of whether it's true. Untangling these motivations is nearly impossible, but they all contribute to the rumor's spread. For Leavitt's husband, Nick, this situation must be bizarre and upsetting. He's not a public figure, but now he's being pulled into internet speculation about whether his son is actually his biological child. There's photos of him with the baby, posts about their family life, all the normal markers of a father who's involved and present. Yet strangers online are suggesting he's been deceived or is complicit in some cover-up. That's an awful position to be in through no fault of your own. The rumor is likely to persist in some corners of the internet, regardless of what facts emerge, because conspiracy theories are remarkably resilient. Even if Leavitt released her son's birth certificate with her husband listed as the father, people would claim it was falsified. Even if Trump addressed it directly and denied any affair, people would say he's lying. Once a conspiracy theory takes root, evidence against it often gets reinterpreted as proof of the conspiracy's depth rather than its falsehood. That's how we end up with claims that get more elaborate over time rather than fading away. What this whole situation really demonstrates is the intersection of celebrity culture, political tribalism, and social media chaos. Trump is treated less like a political figure and more like a reality TV star, which makes sense given his background. Every person in his orbit becomes part of the drama. Leavitt is now famous, not because of any policy work, but because she's young, photogenic, and associated with Trump during a period of intense political polarization. The rumor mills that usually churn around celebrities have been applied to political staffers in a way that would have been unthinkable in previous eras. So what's the actual truth here? Based on everything publicly available, Karoline Leavitt is married to her husband Nick. They had a baby together in July 2024, and she's now serving as White House press secretary. There is no credible evidence of any affair with Trump or any reason to doubt the paternity of her child beyond baseless internet speculation. The rumor exists because Trump's history makes people suspicious, because social media allows conspiracy theories to spread rapidly, and because young women in politics face scrutiny that their male counterparts don't experience to the same degree. Here's what I want to know from you. Do you think public figures have any responsibility to address wild rumors like this directly? Or does responding just give them more attention? And more broadly, how do we as media consumers get better at distinguishing between legitimate investigative reporting and baseless speculation dressed up as questions? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you found this breakdown helpful, hit that subscribe button for more analysis of stories that are blowing up online.